Our guest speaker, man, oh man, hail from Summersville, South Carolina. His favorite group is Coldplay. Him and his lovely wife, man, they will fly across the United States to go see Coldplay in a heartbeat. He wants to buy her a beautiful house. His favorite car is a Porsche. And I can't tell you much. We when I first started going out to South Carolina, him and I would get in his car and we would ride up and down that highway night and day, day and night. See, how many of y'all do something like that? I swear we must have rode off the treads of the car, the wheels. And I tell you what, we went day to night. I get back to my hotel probably 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock at night and get up next morning and do something else again. And I did that so many times. I said, Mr. Thomas, why don't you just stay at my house on the couch if that's okay? You okay with staying on the couch? I said, hey, I've stayed on couches. Ain't my last time. Hey, it doesn't bother me because he said it doesn't make sense. You have a hotel, you're never there because as soon as we come in, 3 hours, 4 hours later, we're back up running up and down the highway again. See, that's the kind of guy I like to run with. That's the kind of work I like to do. I like to work from sun up and sun down. And like you said before, I don't eat until I deserve to eat. And I tell you what, he will give me a run for my money, and I like that because I know when I go to South Carolina, he keeps me busy, and we're in front of people all day and all evening. So without further ado, can we give a round of applause and a real warm to none other than the regional director, the one and only Mr. Curtis Evans.
I'm really happy to be here. We're going to go into some training this morning, and a lot of it has to do with what Mr. Thomas just talked about just a few minutes ago. And I learned something, and we talked about it on a call. A lot of times people just don't know how long it takes for something to grow. Some folks, they tend to, and this is, I'm not talking to everybody here, but I want you to think about the people that you sign up. Just imagine if you got a seed and you put the seed in the ground and you woke up and you left it there all day, you watered it, you put some fertilizer with it, you did everything you're supposed to do with the seed, right? And then you came out tomorrow and you're ready to eat an apple. I mean, you're ready to eat, and the seed is still in the ground. So some things have a life. I think I don't know exactly what you call it, but some things will take a week or two to grow. Some things will take a month or so to grow. Some things will take a year or so to grow, and some things take several years to grow. But if you don't know how long it takes for it to grow, you could be easily disappointed. You could be disappointed because you're hungry tomorrow and you went to the apple tree, that seed that you planted yesterday, and you didn't see no apples. Okay? So isn't it important that we know that how long it takes for something to grow? Okay? So unless you came to our industry with some skills, a lot of skills, and you're going to be learning skills initially, okay? And but the good thing about it is there's probably in your group someone like Mr. Thomas who has a lot of experience, and you lean on them to help you. You pick people, you show people the plan, and let him help you. And that's the idea of this. Now, one day you're going to be graduating, Mr. Bob Meyer, and Maria and myself and others will be graduating into a class where we can help other people because they'll come on board, they're brand new, and we can help them. Right now, I'm working with Kenrick McCoy. You probably see him on the screen there. He just got qualified last week, so we'd like to, he did a really good job of getting qualified, and he's working his way to ETL. He told me last night, he said, okay, what's my next goal? I looked at my sheet, and my sheet said my next goal is ETL. So he wants to have that knocked out this month, okay? So he looked at the launch sheet, and the launch sheet said his next promotion was ETL. He wanted to clarify what it took to get there. So we have a meeting with him tonight, and then another Thursday night with a lot of people that Romney set up. So with that said, there are skills that you're going to be learning, okay? And it's going to take time. So don't put the seed in the ground and come back in a couple of days and expect an apple to be there or a big tree with tons of apples falling off of it. If you understand that, you will not be disappointed. Now, the good thing about it, I'm going to give you a time just so you know. So let's say 5 years, okay? Or let's say 10 years, okay? Now, if you got a lot of skills, it won't take that long. If you learn those skills fast, it won't take that long, okay? But you need to give yourself a break, okay? There's some people that just won't understand. I'm gonna show you one of the guys that just wouldn't understand. I was taught to be an employee. I was taught by my mother and father to be an employee, okay? Okay, this is me with here. Now, the lady that I'm talking to, and I know you all can't see this, but the lady that I'm talking to there is my grandmother. She raised my father. Now, my grandmother was born in 1912. Okay, she was born in 1912, and she did housework and she did a lot of different kinds of work. But she wanted to teach my mother and father, oh, it's my father rather, to grow up and get a job. If he could just find a place where he can work and they would pay him, that would be he would have been a very successful person. In fact, he went into the Air Force and every 2 weeks they paid him. So my grandmother was really successful. In fact, her and her husband talked the boys into going, because there's a lot of problems in the South in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, to going into the military. They went into the Air Force, Army, Marines, Navy, because they didn't want the environment that was going on in the South. So she taught them. And my father and mother taught me. So that's me right there, 30 years old. In about another 10 years, somebody's going to show me Excel communication, going to show me a network marketing business. Okay. So I want to share that with you. So when I first got into the business, I was fortunate because they hauled me to a meeting. And when I went to the meeting, they explained to me that if you do this right over a period of time, you're going to be really, 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 really happy. And I was. I came into business, I made some money the first year. On my last year, I made $200,000, and it didn't take that long. Okay, it's a lot of money. And the next year, the year before that, was 180 or something like that $1,000. I'm just telling you about the money. But I came in not expecting to be wealthy or do really, really good. Now, this is 180 and $200,000 in the early 2000s. Okay, so there's a lot of money even today. But my point in showing you the numbers is this. It's very important that you understand how long it takes for the apple to grow. And then what I was taught by Diane Chapman was you can look at a seed. I mean, you can look at an apple and you can open up an apple and you can count the seeds in an apple. You can count how many 17 seeds, 14 seeds, 13 seeds, 2 seeds, 8 seeds. You can count those seeds. But if you look at one seed, you cannot count the apples in that seed. Okay? You cannot count the apples in that seed. You may have a forest. It may be growing trees for thousands of years. That one seed, you may be dead and gone. It's still growing seeds. And so that's why what we do is we sort. And Mr. Thomas just showed you that a minute ago. He had somebody on the phone, and he's an expert at what? Sorting. He doesn't have the time to spend with that man. The guy that trained me, I can't remember his name now. I'm blank. That's not important. But years ago, he said, when you run into people like that, run from them. Don't walk away. Run from them, okay? Because they will take you down. Your big goals and aspirations, they will take you down. And that's probably because they were trained by someone like my father or my grandmother, and they just don't know. They just don't know. So it's important that we not beat up the whole world. We're looking for, in our business, 5 or 6 seeds in separate lines. In our business, we're looking for 5 or 6 seeds, 5 or 6 leaders in 4 or 5 different lines. And I know everybody on the call can do that. Okay? Everybody on the call can do that. And you may not even know these people. You'll sign me up and I'll sign up Mr. Thomas. And Mr. Thomas is one of those people you can count at one leg. You'll sign up Brian Waller, and he will sign up Miss Maria Estrada. Okay? And that's another leg. That's all we're doing. Now, in order to do that, we all know that our ultimate job is to do this. Let me see if I can share again. Our ultimate job is to do this. Let's talk about what our goal is, what we're trying to get done. I showed this last time because Mr. Kerry made the CQ promotion. He's a customer qualified. And now his job is to get over to ETL. Okay, he has 3 or 4 IBOs is ready to get going, one pretty soon. Okay, now with that said, he wants to go over to ETL. There's some money there. There's some money to be made at ETL. If you like the money to be made at ETL, go to RC. And how do you get to RC, regional coordinator? Well, in your group, you have some ETLs. You have some ETLs in your group, and you're helping them, and it pushes you over here. And then to get to RD, you have some RCs in your group. So we got to teach people the compensation plan. Now, down on this end, there's untold amounts of money down on this end. I'm not going to go through it because they won't record this. They'll scrap it. Mr. Thomas is not going to put all those crazy numbers out there because we don't want to fool anybody or trick anybody that they're going to be wealthy by paying $345 and going home and sit down. This ain't that, okay? So what I want you to do is know your goal as an IBO is to help as many people as you can go through this. Now, Mr. Provenzano told us that our job is to help people to ETL. and then watch them and see if they want to move to the next level. But sometimes you spend a lot of time with someone, and I mean, you're wasting your time, because I'm not saying you're wasting your time, but they don't want to go any further. Okay, but if they can get here and they're getting a check every month, they're happy. We'll leave them alone because they're happy. But our job is to get over here, initially to make RD a goal. Now, as you see this blue arrow below there, that blue arrow is increased cabs. That's customer acquisition bonuses. As you move through this, your customer acquisition bonuses are going to get higher and higher and higher and higher. Over here at ETL, it's $50. That's a lot of money, because 4, 5, 8 people came to your business group, you made $400. Over here, it's $450. Now, which one do you rather? You rather the $50 or the $450? Now, most of us would rather the $450, okay? And so we're going to give increased bonuses as our business grows. How do they know that our business is growing? They're looking at how many customers we have in our business. So if I have 75 customers in my business, I'm growing. If my IBOs that I'm helping get 75 customer points, they're growing, and it goes on and on and on. As more and more points join to your business group, you start getting pushed over to this side. Now you also get a chance, and I'm looking forward to this, to enjoy some incentive trips, because now the incentive trips used to start when you were RVP. When you were RVP, the incentive trips started. Now they start at RD, and everybody on this call can be an RD. Everyone on this call can be RD. You're trained, okay? Also, your residual income check increases as you start growing through the business. First, I want you to try to get over to RVP. You can do that, and getting there, your residual checks are going to grow. Now, how does all of this happen? Let's talk about that. Just going to be a short video. How does all that happen? It's all nice and good, but it won't happen by itself. It will not happen by itself. So if you're coming into the business and you're waiting to see hit the lottery, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to do something really simple, and that is learn to peak people. Learn to peak people. Now, I got a little saying that works for me. You're good at what you do. My company's looking for people like you. And if you see them lean forward or go and get something to write a number down on, or take my number, you'll see somebody that's not happy with their job. That's the easiest way for me to find out. A lot of people say, well, thank you, but I'm good. They're okay. Leave them alone. Okay, we just leave them alone. So, but now I want you to go to the mirror. I want you to practice what you can say, what rolls off your tongue easily. Mr. Waller may have something that rolls off his tongue. I've heard Al do it 1,000 times. He got different ways of doing it with different people, depending on who they are, how old he perceives them, what kind of work they're doing. He looks at a lot of different things, and he decides, because he's been doing this longer than I have. And certainly he has a skill with a lot of different people. But at first, you need to find out your core, your center, okay? And wherever that is, learn to compliment people. And if you can just compliment, not a fake compliment. Like if you came to me and said, you really like my hair, I mean, I get you probably want something, okay? You probably want something. What do you want? Yeah. So have a genuine compliment. You have a great smile. Look like you like your work. You like your work. Our company looking for people like you. What do you do? If I send you a video, would you watch it? Yeah. Then they'll give me the information. Okay. And my job is to peak people, and that's what we're all getting very, very good at. Now, let's talk about for a minute what we're trying to get done. Okay. So I got a video. Now this is going to be a little bit rough, and Mr. Thomas wasn't prepared for this. So if y'all see a blank on the screen, there's no cussing in here, but you might hear it. There ain't no cussing though. So I decided to go ahead and show it anyway. All right. But I want you to talk to a guy. There's a guy that I've heard of. His name is Tom Brady. Okay. And Tom Brady, I mean, a team could be down by, they could be up by 6 points, and there's 23 seconds left on the clock. It could be they're up 10 points, and there is 2 minutes on the clock. But the thing that would quiet them all up, a stadium with 100,000 people in it, would get quiet when this man picked up his helmet and started walking out there on the football field. Yeah, anybody remember that? When the game was over, the game is over. The game is over. Everybody knows the game is over. And then all of a sudden, he picks his helmet up and starts walking across the field. Now it's a away game, And everybody in the stadium stopped screaming. They stopped. And they stopped because this guy, within 30 seconds, could put his team over the hump. He could do it. Okay? So Mr. Brady is you. He didn't get that overnight. He didn't learn that overnight. In fact, nobody wanted to recruit him when he first got started. Nobody wanted him. They thought he was nothing, you know? In fact, one team recruited him. He stayed with that team and did really, really well. But let's listen to what he says about growing and about the problems you have, especially about not working and not working hard and not. And, I mean, he's one of my role models, but I want you to listen to it. Hopefully, I'm not going to blow this. So, but this applies to your multi-level marketing business. This applies to ACN.
I have another good friend, and again, a guy like he says, the fish just don't jump in the boat. You know, meaning you better go out there and do it yourself. You know, don't wait around and wait for someone to hand deliver something. Go make it happen. You know, the fish don't just jump in the boat. If you want to go catch them, go catch them. You know, throw that line in the water and go do some work. And if it doesn't work that day, do it again the next day. So, and I think the procrastination, that's probably not good for any of us. You know, I think we want to go out there and do it, go out there and make it happen.
Some days it gets tough.
It does.
Some days it gets tough.
And I think a part of it, that noble mentality is, you know, your tired body, that unmotivated mind, and get out there and do it anyway. You know, you better fight yourself, because you're not only winning when things are going your way. You got to figure out how to win when things aren't going your way. You got to figure out when your body's fighting you, when your mind's fighting you. How do you still, you know, just say, it, I'm gonna beat my mind today? Or do you just give in to your mind and say, oh, I'm tired today, I'm lazy, I don't want to do it, it's too hard, no one else is doing it, it's a weekend, it's too late, these are already off hours, oh, exactly what I want isn't happening right now. Like, okay, great. You know who that's great for? Your competition.
All right, so will you feel like doing ACN every day? No. Will you feel like peaking every day? No. Will you feel like peaking? No. He said you got to get past that. And when we say that, don't have that sick feeling in your stomach where you left someone at a counter or a driver in a car and you didn't say anything. And whatever it is you had to say, you have to practice it. I mean, you can't just come out there and say, I should have said something, but I didn't know what to say. That's because you haven't practiced anything. You haven't practiced. And that's why you're so nervous. You're really nervous when you're talking to people. You're really nervous. I didn't know Kenrick. I piqued him, right? I piqued him. We showed him a presentation over the internet, and a month and a half later, he signed up. And he has some other people that he knows. What I'm saying, though, is this. Get good at what you're going to get good at, and that's peaking people. Because if you're going to try to get wealthy on people that got your last name, it's not going to happen. Okay? If you think the Myerses and the Roberts and the Fosters and the Williams and the Ransoms and the Peons, and if you think the O'Neills and the McCoys are going to make you mind-boggling wealthy, not. You might get an IBR there, and maybe they'll know somebody that knows somebody. I'm not saying that. Sometimes a dud knows a stud. But I'll tell you this is a fact. If we can learn how to peak people, peak and peak and peak and peak, and do that on a constant basis. He says, Mr. Thomas says, do 3 a day. Why can't we do 9 or 10 or 7 or 8? I mean, why can't we? Did we only met 3 people today? Or did we prejudge? Did we only meet 3 people? Did we only meet 3 people today? Or did we prejudge? Which one? We prejudge. Oh, he got a nice car. Like yesterday, the other day, Sunday, we took a Porsche out for a drive, and a lady hit the back of it. You know, it's a long story. I don't want to even go in there. Anyway, so, but what I'm saying is, we picked her. I mean, so it's something called fear. Feel the fear and do it anyway. You're going to be a little nervous and you're going to be a little scared. Feel the fear and do it anyway, because you got to get to what? 10. You got to get to 10. If that's your number, okay? So that's what I have today. We're going to go ahead and grow a really big business. We're going to make it so that one day when Mr. Thomas is old and decrepit and laying in a wheelchair, talking out the side of his mouth, and look at all of us and everybody on the call are SVPs. Everybody's SVPs. I think he'll be happy. I'm pretty sure he'll be okay. Okay, all right? So Thank y'all very much for the call. Remember, like what Mr. Brady said, he said the fish aren't going to jump in the boat. So if you're at home with your home-based business and you're waiting for somebody to knock on the door, it's not going to happen. The fish aren't going to jump in the boat. Thank you. That's what I have for today. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. It's all yours.